I'm a 56-year-old, rural, gun-owning white guy. And if Kamala Harris thinks I'll vote for her, she's right. I'm going to release this video on Labor Day because it's when we're supposed to stop and think about all the things we have thanks to the American labor movement. Things like weekends off and 40-hour work week, overtime pay, safer work conditions, just to name a few. Things that benefit all American workers, whether or not they belong to a union. Things that we wouldn't have if it weren't for the unions. So thank you, American labor unions. I want to start with a quote from one of my favorite presidents. He said, "Today in America, unions have a secure place in our industrial life. Only a handful of unreconstructed reactionaries harbor the ugly thought of breaking unions. And only a fool would try to deprive working men and women of the right to join the union of their choice." Dwight Eisenhower, 1952. He's one of my favorite presidents because he did so much for the working class in America, created lots of jobs, and they were well-paying jobs. I think he's a pretty good measuring stick by which to put our candidates. So let's do that. We begin with Trump and Project 2025. Under Trump, we would lose the 40-hour work week and we would get a 160-hour work month. Think about that for a minute and ask yourself, what would your boss do with that? Well, there goes your weekends. Also under Trump, let's see, his National Labor Relations Board made forming a union significantly more difficult, and his appointments to the Supreme Court. Well, Neil Gorsuch wrote several opinions that are very hard on the American worker. Trump made it more difficult to enforce collective bargaining agreements. He silenced workers and he restricted the freedom to join unions. He restricted overtime pay, he opposed wage increases, and he gutted health and safety protections. Most of this he did with a stroke of a pen. I don't think he stacks up very well against Eisenhower. How about Kamala Harris? How does she stack up? Shortly after Biden was elected, he created the White House Task Force on Worker Organizing and Empowerment. And he made Kamala Harris the chairperson of that task force. In February of 2022, 2.5 years before she even knew she'd be the nominee, she released a report and it said, quote, "Increasing worker organizing and empowerment is critical to growing the middle class, building an economy that puts workers first, and strengthening our democracy." Close quote. That actually sounds a lot like Eisenhower. Yeah, I think I'll protect my weekends. I think I'll vote for Kamala Harris. Good day.